The claim form sat on my desk like a confession I wasn't ready to hear. Chloe Montgomery. My wife's name on a medical claim for injuries from a car accident 3 weeks ago. An accident she never mentioned. I'm James Montgomery, 23 years reviewing insurance claims in Birmingham, Alabama. You learn to spot the lies. People pause before giving details they're inventing. They over-explain simple things. This claim had all the signs, but it was the witness signature that knocked the wind out of me. Eric Sinclair. Her life coach, the one she'd been seeing twice a week for personal development. I walked to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, stared at myself in the mirror. Then I went back and did what I always do. Started documenting. Chloe and I met 15 years ago at a hardware store. She was trying to install shelving, had the wrong brackets. I helped her find the right ones. She said I had competent hands. Weird compliment, but it worked. We built a good life. She ran a catering business. I investigated insurance fraud. Not glamorous work, mostly paperwork, phone calls, checking if dates line up. The kind of job people's eyes glaze over when you describe it at parties. The changes started 18 months ago. Her friend Nancy dragged her to a workshop downtown. Transform Your Reality, or something equally vague. Run by Eric Sinclair, a guy who dressed like he wanted you to think he was successful. Designer clothes that didn't quite fit right. Watch that looked expensive from a distance. I looked him up after Chloe's third session. No criminal record, but no real credentials either. His LinkedIn was all buzzwords. His testimonials were anonymous. Classic warning signs, but pointing them out would make me the unsupportive husband. He really understands people, Chloe said one night. He says most of us are afraid of our own success. Maybe some people are just content. Content is another word for stuck, James. That should have been my first real warning. I couldn't investigate my own wife's claim. Massive conflict of interest. But I could note discrepancies and pass it up the chain. Standard procedure. The medical bills were inflated by at least 300%. The accident report listed an intersection I drove through daily. Never saw any debris, any glass, any sign of a collision. I handed the file to my supervisor, Grace Patterson, that afternoon. This needs a review, I said. Billing codes don't match the stated injuries. She glanced at the name. James, this is... I know. That's why you need to handle it. You okay? Just do your job, Grace. I figured it would get kicked back as an error, maybe a reduced payout. Inflated claims happened all the time. Most got negotiated down, everyone moved on. I'd done my duty, flagging it. That night, Chloe made lasagna. We ate in near silence until she asked about my day. Reviewed some claims, the usual. Find any fraud. Always someone trying something. She set down her fork. You assume everyone's lying. Not everyone, just the ones who are. We didn't talk the rest of the night. She went to bed early. I sat in the living room, laptop open, doing something I shouldn't have. Searching Eric Sinclair's history through public records. 3 insurance settlements in 5 years across different states. Always as a passenger or witness. Always just under the threshold that triggers investigation. Either he was the unluckiest man alive or he'd found a profitable pattern. 2 days later, Grace called me into her office. Her face told me this wasn't routine. James, sit down. What's wrong? That claim you flagged. SIU was already investigating Eric Sinclair. Your wife's claim. It's connected to something bigger. My stomach dropped. How much bigger? 7 claims in 3 years. Same medical providers. Same inflated billing patterns. It's organized fraud. I didn't know. I just saw the billing discrepancies. James, your wife is going to be arrested. The room tilted. I'd flagged hundreds of suspicious claims over the years. They usually resulted in denials or reduced payouts. Maybe a warning letter, not arrests. When? Today. Maybe tomorrow. The FBI's involved now. Interstate fraud. The FBI? For inflated medical claims? Eric Sinclair isn't his real name. It's Martin Fisk. He has warrants in 2 other states. I stood up, sat back down, stood up again. I need to. You can't warn her. You know that. I wasn't going to. But I was. Of course I was. She was my wife. I went home at lunch. Chloe was there making sandwiches for a catering order. "You're home early," she said without looking up. "We need to talk." "About?" "The accident." She stopped moving. "What about it?" "Just tell me the truth, please." She turned around. "The truth about what? Was it real?" "Of course it was real. Why would you even ask that?" The lie came so easily. 15 years of marriage and she could look me in the eye and lie without flinching. Eric Sinclair has filed 3 insurance claims in 5 years. So that's a pattern. Maybe he's unlucky. "Chloe, please. If there's something you need to tell me." "There's nothing." She went back to making sandwiches. "I have to deliver these by 2. I watched her work, knowing it was probably the last normal moment we'd have. Part of me wanted to scream at her to run, to get a lawyer, to do something. But I just stood there paralyzed by the weight of what was coming. "I love you," I said. She looked up, surprised. "I love you too." Another lie. Or maybe not. Hard to tell anymore. They came the next morning. I was at work when Nancy called, hysterical. "They arrested her. The FBI arrested Chloe." "What? Why?" I had to pretend to be shocked, had to play the confused husband. Something about insurance fraud. "James, did you know about this?" "No, I don't understand." "She was crying, asking for you." "I'll call a lawyer." I did call a lawyer. Stephen Mills, criminal defense. Expensive, but good. He called back that afternoon. "Your wife's in serious trouble. This Sinclair character. He's been running insurance scams across multiple states. She's named in one of them. She was manipulated. Maybe. But she signed the forms. That's fraud, manipulation or not. What's she facing? If she cooperates, probably a year, maybe less. If she fights it, 3 to 5. Jesus. There's something else. Sinclair, or Fisk, whatever his name is. He's claiming she was the mastermind. That's ridiculous. I know, but he's trying to save himself. Makes her defense complicated. Chloe called from jail that night. I'd never gotten a call from jail before. There's a recorded message telling you it's being monitored, asking if you'll accept charges. I said yes. "James, I'm here. I'm sorry." "For which part?" Silence. Then, "All of it." "The affair too?" A longer silence. "You knew. I figured it out. I'm sorry. I got lost. Eric made me feel special, I know." "How's it going with Stephen Mills?" "He thinks if you cooperate, you'll get minimal time." "Should I?" "That's your choice." "But what should I do?" "Tell the truth. It's the only thing that might save you." She started crying. "I've ruined everything." "Yeah, you have. Do you hate me?" I thought about it. Really considered the question. "No, I'm just tired." "Will you wait for me?" "No." The line went quiet, except for her breathing. "I understand," she finally said. "Take the deal, Chloe. Testify against him. Get your life back." "What life?" "I've lost everything." "You lost one life. You can build another." Chloe took the deal. Pled guilty to 1 count of fraud. Testified against Martin Fisk. Her testimony was apparently devastating. Detailed how he coached her through the claim. Promised they'd use the money to start a business together. Even picked the medical providers who would inflate the bills. Fisk got 4 years federal time. His network collapsed. 2 chiropractors lost licenses. A massage therapist got probation. An auto body shop closed down. Small-time crooks who thought they'd found a loophole. Chloe got 14 months, would serve 5 with good behavior. The judge cited her cooperation and lack of prior record. I didn't go to the sentencing. Couldn't watch them take her away. Stephen Mills called me after. She asked about you. Yeah? Wanted to know if you'd forgiven her. What did you tell her? That forgiveness takes time. Diplomatic. Honest. You might forgive her eventually. I might. But not today. I filed for divorce while she was in prison. Sent the papers through Stephen Mills. She signed without contest. Didn't ask for anything. Clean break. 6 months later, she wrote me a letter. Not asking for anything, just explaining how the affair started. Eric paying attention when I was always distracted. How the fraud seemed like a victimless crime against companies that denied legitimate claims all the time. How she knew it was wrong, but convinced herself it was justified. I became someone I don't recognize, she wrote. I look in the mirror here and wonder how I got so lost. I wrote back once. We all get lost sometimes. The difference is what we do when we realize it. She didn't write again. My sister Marie forced me into therapy. Dr. Coleman, an older woman who didn't let me deflect. You feel guilty, she said during our 4th session. I did my job. Your job that led to your wife's arrest. She committed fraud, which you discovered by chance. By doing my job. Do you wish you hadn't flagged it? The question haunted me. Would I have been happier not knowing? Living the lie? Coming home to lasagna and lies? No. But I wish she hadn't done it. We can't control other people's choices. Then what can we control? How we respond to them. A year passed. I kept working, kept investigating fraud, got better at separating the desperate from the greedy. Most fraud isn't sophisticated. It's desperate people making bad choices, or greedy people thinking they're smarter than the system. Tommy Nguyen from the body shop called one day. Hey James, heard about everything. Old news now. Yeah, well, sorry anyway. That's rough. It is what it is. You know, I see fraud all the time. People wanting me to inflate estimates. I always wonder about their stories. Everyone has a story. Yeah, but not everyone acts on it. He was right. The difference between thinking about fraud and committing it is massive. Chloe had crossed that line. I couldn't follow her. Grace Patterson promoted me to senior investigator. More money, more responsibility, more claims that looked wrong. I got good at training new investigators. Look for patterns, I'd tell them. But remember, there are people behind the patterns. Doesn't that make it harder? One asked. Makes it necessary. If we forget they're people, we become the bad guys. 2 years later, I ran into Nancy at a grocery store. She tried to avoid me, but we ended up in the same checkout line. How's Chloe? I asked. You don't know. We don't talk. She's in Phoenix, working as a bookkeeper, staying out of trouble. Good. She asks about you sometimes. Tell her I'm fine. Are you? I thought about it. Getting there. Nancy nodded. For what it's worth. She knows she screwed up, really knows it. Knowing it now doesn't change what happened. No, but maybe it prevents it from happening again. Maybe. We paid for our groceries in silence. As she was leaving, Nancy turned back. She wasn't always lying, James. The person you married. That was real. I know. That's what makes it worse. Later, I thought about what Nancy said. The person I married was real, but so was the person who committed fraud. They were both Chloe. That's the hard truth about people. We're all capable of being both our best and worst selves. It's been 3 years now. Same desk, same job, but everything feels different. Last month, a young investigator knocked on my door. Reminded me of myself 20 years ago. All confidence and certainty. Got a minute? He held a file, knuckles white. What's up? Found fraud. The claimant. She's my neighbor. Kids play together. I remembered that feeling. The sick drop in your stomach when the job gets personal. You sure it's fraud? Dead sure. Staged accident. Even got the same body shop to write up fake damage. What are you asking me? He sat down heavy. I don't know. Permission to pretend I didn't see it. Can't give you that. Then what? I pulled out my desk drawer, showed him a photo I kept there. Chloe and me at our last anniversary dinner before everything went bad. Both smiling, no idea what was coming. That's my ex-wife. She filed a fraudulent claim 3 years ago. $40,000. His eyes widened. What did you do? Flagged it. Just like any other claim. Jesus. That must have destroyed everything? Yeah. But you know what would have been worse? Becoming someone who looks the other way. Once you start making exceptions, where do you stop? He stared at the photo. She looks nice. She was, still is probably. Just made bad choices. Do you regret it? I thought about lying, making it easier for him. But he deserved truth. Every day. And I'd do it again every time. He left without saying anything else. The next morning I saw his report in the system. He'd flagged his neighbor's claim. I bought him coffee, didn't say a word about it. Some lessons you learn by living through them. Last week I was at the gas station when I heard someone call my name. Turned around to see Roberto, owned a newsstand near that intersection where Chloe's accident supposedly happened. He was closing his shop, retiring to Florida. Mr. Montgomery, how you been? Good, Roberto. Congrats on the retirement. 28 years on that corner. Saw everything, including things that weren't there, if you know what I mean. He winked. We both knew what he meant. Take care, Roberto. You too. Hey, that thing with your wife. Sorry how that worked out. Me too. But you did right. My cousin's an adjuster in Jersey. Says everyone's trying to scam these days. Someone's got to keep them honest. Someone does. I drove home thinking about Roberto's words. Not about keeping people honest. That's impossible. But about being willing to look when it would be easier not to. To document what's real when everyone's selling fiction. Got home to find a package on my doorstep. No return address. Inside was a photo. Chloe in Phoenix, serving food at what looked like a homeless shelter. She looked older, tired, but there was something in her expression I recognized. The woman I'd married was still in there somewhere. No note, no explanation. Maybe from Nancy, maybe from Chloe herself. Doesn't matter. I kept the photo, tucked it in the same drawer as our anniversary picture. 2 versions of the same person, both real. That's the thing I've learned. We're all capable of both versions. The only difference is which one we choose to be on any given day, and whether someone's watching when we choose. I still drive past that intersection sometimes. They put in a Starbucks where the empty lot used to be. Life moves on, covers over the cracks, builds something new. But I know what happened there. Or didn't happen. That's enough. It has to be.